Report, and I'd like to welcome you to the virtual meeting of June 28th, 2021 of the Library Board. Because in-person attendance at public meetings is likely to increase the risk of transmission of COVID-19, this meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Governor Lamont's Executive Order Number 7B, as extended by a series of executive orders to permit municipalities to conduct public meetings virtually. Board members and some library staff are participating via video conference, and members of the public can view the meeting live on West Hartford Community Television or West Hartford Community Interactive Comcast Channel 96, Frontier TV Channel 6099, or at www.whctv.org. This meeting is being recorded for on-demand viewing, which will be available on the town and the library's websites subsequently. Because of the virtual format, there are some special rules and procedures that we will now cover. First, all participants should mute their phone or your devices when you are not speaking. If you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand and I'll call you. If you're participating via audio only or I do not call on you and the debate for any motion has ended, then please unmute your phone and let me know so that I can call on you. Second, pursuant to Governor Lamont's executive orders, all speakers must state their names and title each time they speak. Third, because of the difficulty in tallying voice votes on a video conference, most votes will be taken by roll call. And finally, a reminder that if anyone has a problem with connection, we should immediately call Janet Valences, whose phone number you were provided earlier, and she'll let us know so we can recess the meeting. If that cannot be resolved, then we will please call back in using the phone only. Okay, I should also note that I'm in a location where internet is off and on, and Gail has everything to take over the meeting should I get disconnected. And my game plan is to call back in on the phone line if I have to. I will now call the roll and note staff members who are present. Kim Cohen. Chair recognizes Kim Cohen.
Sorry. Hi, Kim Cohen, Library Board Member.
Gail Crockett.
Gail Crockett, Library Board Member, present.
Eileen Daly. Please note that Eileen Daly is not present at this time, and she indicated that she's out of connection right at the moment, but she hopes to be calling in later. Natalia Menjivar. Please note that Natalia is not at this meeting. And Jill Spear, Library Board Chair, present. Please note that also in attendance are Acting Director Carol Waxman and Office Operations Specialist Janice Valences. Is anyone else getting feedback, by the way? Gail, can you put yourself on mute? I don't know if that's it. Let's see if that will work. We'll see if that works.
I'm trying to mute myself, but.
Janet, can you help us?
I just muted Gail.
Got it. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. All right. Any public comment? And please note that there is no public in attendance, or no public has submitted any comment beforehand. Our first agenda item is approval of the consent agenda, items 4, 8AI, and 88II. Do have a motion for approval? Chair recognizes Kim Cohen.
Kim Cohen, Library Board Member. I move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Kim. Do we have a second? Gail Crockett, did I see you flash up with your hand?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Gail Crockett, Library Board Member. I second the motion to approve.
Okay, thank you. A motion has been made and a seconded. Any discussion? No, for approval of the consent agenda. Then we'll take the vote. Kim Cohen?
Kim Cohen, Library Board Member, approve.
Gail Crockett?
Gail Crockett, Library Board Member, approve.
And Jill Spear, Library Board Member and Chair, approve. Motion made and passed. Thank you. All right. Our next agenda item is the President's Report. First item is the West Hartford Board Training for Freedom of Information Act. I know that Eileen has now completed her training, and anyone who still has to complete it, please just let me know when you get time. And I know it takes some time. It's a really good thing, but it is, as Gail and I pointed out at the meeting a few months ago, it takes some time. It's a lot. It's not that long playing, but it's very comprehensive. But you can take it in pieces. So if that helps, please do so and let me know. Thank you. The next item in the President's Report is the Director Search. As you recall, back in December, the Search Committee for the Library Board Director established the strategy that we would poke our heads up, just like Punxsutawney Phil in the spring, and see how the job market was doing before making any decisions of how we should proceed with the Director Search. I'm pleased to note that having been monitoring all the postings that go out in Connecticut, at least, and from other states on the Connecticut side, there are a number of jobs now being posted for library directors. So the search committee will reconvene and create a timeline and et cetera for the director search, and that'll be, part of the HR functions that we do. But I'm pleased to note that, the economy's opening up. People are moving around, so we'll be able to begin that search again. Our next agenda item is old business, and the first thing on that is the fiscal year 22 budget update. And I call on Carol Waxman, Acting Chair Carol Waxman, to give us an update. Will you please, Carol?
Thank you, Carol Waxman, Acting Library Director. At this time, we are at the end of our fiscal year and have spent all of the materials budget. There is a surplus in the part-time staffing budget due to the decreased hours during the pandemic associated with building closure and reduced occupancy. The part-time staffing surplus of $200,000 will be returned to the town as committed in the revised FY21 pandemic adjustments. Beginning in July for the new fiscal year, staffing and scheduling for library services will be adjusted to align with the adopted FY22 budget. The Faxon and Bishop's Corner library branches will be open on the same schedule as pre-COVID. The Noah Webster Library schedule will be reduced 7 hours weekly and open on Sundays for 3 instead of 7 months. The Librarian 2 Programs and Publicity position remains on the town staffing roster, but is not funded for the fiscal year 22. The Library Director position is, of course, on the town staffing roster. However, the FY22 budget assumes funding for half the year unless adjustments are made to cover that expense. And that concludes the report on the budget.
Thank you, Carol. Any questions? And Carol, I want to just commend the staff for managing a very complicated fiscal year 21. It was a tough year, and you guys did a great job. Managed to bring in all the materials right down to the penny practically, and with the changes in the personnel times that needed because of the pandemic, did a wonderful job with managing and juggling how that schedule to staff all the buildings when we were permitted to have people in the buildings and with the capacity. So thank you for all your work. I know it was complicated.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Janet?
Carol, we had to reduce our open hours because of the $100,000 reduction in our budget that was taken away from us in fiscal year, well, a year ago. It was taken away a while ago. Do you anticipate that we would have any additional funds available to fund the director position more than the half year that were allocated?
You're asking me, Janet?
Yes, Carol.
Okay, so the answer is that we are to the penny with staffing. In order to staff 3 nights a week till 8 o'clock and 2 nights till 5 and Saturdays till 5, and open 3 months of Sundays and staff the branches, we are pretty much to the penny. So if we do have to allocate funds, which are not allocated now for the library director position, our library hours would have to be reduced accordingly.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the good question, Janet. And the town manager basically indicated that when we worked with them in the finance committee and how we would handle it. And the search committee is all aware of how that would be. So that's part of the game plan, Janet. Chair recognizes Kim.
Kim Cohen, library board member. Just given where we are in the year and how long it would take to start the process up again, it seems ambitious that we would have someone sooner than 6 months from now by a considerable margin, if at all, just depending on. So I think it seems like it likely won't be an issue, but I think you're exactly right. We need to think through what it would look like if it did become an issue.
Exactly. Right, great question. Anything else? All right. Our next agenda item is the new Community Cultural Center and Library branch for Elmwood. So if you recall, Town Manager Matt Hart was with us at the May meeting and gave us an update on where that is, and also asked the board members at that time what their initial thoughts were. Since the library board reports to the town council, there's a request that we actually put those thoughts down in writing and communicate that to the town council. So I'm asking, we'll certainly send draft around rivers, but I'm asking for volunteers who want to work on working on the draft. Clearly, everybody's going to have, all 5 of us will have input on it. I was going to take what we had said at the May meeting as a start of that draft and then have each of us add any comments they would like to add. Any volunteers for initial draft, or is that going to work the way I suggested?
Jill, this is Kim Cohen, library board member. I'm happy to participate in the rewriting. I think probably your notes are better than mine in the initial draft, but so I don't know about pulling together an initial draft, but I'm happy to be involved in the evolving of that document.
Oh, thank you, Kim. Thank you. I was hoping you'd say that. That's great. All right. Well, that concludes the old business. We have no new business on the agenda tonight, so we'll turn to the director's report. The chair recognizes Carol Waxman.
Thank you, Carol Waxman, interim library director. As part of the continued reopening, starting June 7th, library hours at Noah Webster Library increased from 5 to 6 p.m. Mondays through Wednesdays, and from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock on Saturdays. On Thursdays and Fridays, we continued to close at 5 p.m. Beginning July 12th, hours at the Noah Webster Library will increase to 8 p.m. Mondays through Wednesdays, continuing the 5 o'clock closing on Thursday and Friday, and the 2 o'clock closing on Saturday. After Labor Day, the Noah Webster Library will increase Saturday hours to close at 5 o'clock. Branch hours will be back to similar to pre-COVID schedules in September, each branch opening one evening till 6 and one evening until 8, as well as from 10 to 2 on Saturday. We continue to add back furniture that had been stored in order to accomplish social distancing. The library buildings are definitely busier each day, with more patrons returning inside. Curbside continues to be robust at the Bishop's Corner branch, but has slowed slightly at Noah Webster and Faxon as more patrons feel comfortable entering the building. There have been relatively few complaints from patrons about adhering to the mask compliance. In fact, many patrons of all ages have made it a point to mention that they are very appreciative that we are requiring masks inside of our buildings. Programming continues to be virtual or outdoors. During the summer, we will discuss fall programming to determine what can be held safely in our meeting and boardrooms. We are still not offering play areas for children, as the majority of public libraries are not, but plan to circulate toys again soon so that patrons can take these home to play with, as we have always offered pre-pandemic. Library Connection Incorporated, a nonprofit cooperative of libraries that share an integrated library system and other technological innovations to add value through collaboration, of which we are a member, has voted to make changes in the blocking amounts for patrons. The blocking amount will increase from $10 to $25. When patrons reach fines of $25, their card will be blocked from use. During the pandemic, the West Hartford libraries did not charge fines for late materials. Beginning July 1st, the fine system will be reinstated. The new community center. Slight update. The town of West Hartford continues to proceed through the due diligence process of the St. Bridget property to determine whether the town will acquire the property to build a new community center. The matter will be discussed at the next town council meeting in July. The smart locker system for Bishop's Corner has been ordered. We expect installation by the end of the summer and are accepting quotes for electrical and Ethernet, which will be paid from the library technology equipment budget. Some great news from the American Rescue Plan Act funding for libraries. We have been awarded a grant to purchase a study pod. The American Rescue Plan Act, through the Connecticut State Library and the Institute of Museum and Library Sciences, has awarded the West Hartford Public Libraries $24,500 to purchase an Orange Box AirPod or a study pod, a unit to be located in the area of the former Learning Lab on the adult floor. Patrons requesting use of the study pod can either use it by themselves or with up to 3 people. The product is ADA compliant and provides physical and acoustical privacy with glass walls for visual connection and a louvered roof system that will allow our existing sprinkler to operate. The pod has a built-in air handling and filtration system. The unit does not require instruction, and we have permission for the delivery truck to drive up to the front door of the library across the cobblestone paths to deliver it. We are purchasing the pod from Red Thread, which is a state of Connecticut preferred vendor. The funds have already been received by the town. We will be seeking additional grant funding to pay for the difference between the grant amount and the actual cost of the study pod, installation and delivery, and a table and 4 chairs to furnish the pod. A subcommittee of the Physical Spaces Committee is in the process of planning for a new tech lab, which will feature podcasting sound equipment, video production and studio equipment, editing tools and software, a Cricut vinyl cutter, and a station for digitizing analog content. The new tech lab will be in the former computer lab located on the main floor of the Noah Webster Library. In addition to sound equipment, our vision is to equip the room with modular furniture to accommodate groups of various sizes. A door has been installed at the entry of the tech lab, and soundproofing improvements will be made to make it a quieter workspace. In addition to letting patrons use the room to work with the technology, we will also use the room as an instructional space and allow patrons to use it as an additional study room or meeting room when it's not in use. Security cameras have been placed outside of the Noah Webster Library with a view to the spectacular new mural and other areas. There will be a security camera people counter installed in the Noah Webster Library, and beautiful canopy lighting has been installed in the area between the theater and the Noah Webster Library to light up the area more in the evening. In preparation for the new study pod, surrounding walls have been removed from the former learning lab. A wall has been painted and electrical outlets in the floor have been removed. A grant will be submitted for furnishings for the study pod, as well as some of the costs associated with the pod that were not covered by the American Rescue Plan for Libraries grant. We are awaiting installation of the acoustic panels in the gallery area of the adult floor as a first step in a plan to mitigate loud noise in that area. I'd like to speak a little bit to you about the Mayor's Youth Council. We are moving forward in an incredible project. Just to update you on what the Mayor's Youth Council is, it's an advisory board comprised of 11 students in grades 9 through 12 from public, private, religious, or homeschool. These teens will help identify issues affecting youth and propose solutions to the West Hartford government through active civic engagement. Teen Services Librarian Carrie Karp and I attended a town council meeting on May 11th to propose and describe the project. Mayor Cantor read a town proclamation to establish the Youth Council, and all members approved it unanimously. I'm very happy to let you know that over 60 applications for membership were received. Interviews have taken place in order to select the 11 candidates. It is a very difficult task. The interview panel consists of the West Hartford teen librarian, Carrie Karp, myself, a staff member from the West Hartford Public Schools Administration, a staff member from the Bridge Family Services, and a town council member. We hope to announce the candidates soon, the chosen candidates soon. The children's librarians have been outside of Bishop's Corner, outside of Faxon, and outside of the Noah Webster Library with the children, running around, playing games, having fantastic programs, grab-and-go crafts, lawn games, tie-dyeing, art, flower pots, squirt gun painting, chocolate Olympics, hula hooping, visits from zoo animals, chalk art, and much more. There is a wonderful new awning in the back of the Bishop's Corner Library that is shared with the Senior Center, and picnic tables, and a lot of this is taking place there. We have 2 evening concerts scheduled for this summer, both at Eisenhower Park. Roly Poly Guacamole from Brooklyn will be there on July 14th, and the Casey Sisters on August 4th. For summer reading, children are completing a bingo board challenge and have opportunities to win book bundles through a raffle. The adults are not out on the lawn. The adults are still virtual. There have been programs about great women in jazz, blues, and rock, meditation, Connecticut lore, a program on braces and retainers. The film Purple, a program on the Rolling Stones. The West Hartford Public Libraries is planning a project for the year starting in September and ending next April called Celebrate All of Us. This will be a brand new initiative and an opportunity to celebrate all of the cultures of West Hartford's diverse community through dance and food, through music and crafts, through author talks, travel, and an art show. A committee consisting of library staff has met to start planning. A Kilfoyle grant will be written to provide funding for the programs. Much more information will follow. As always, the West Hartford Libraries are in partnerships with many other groups in town. The Unite CT van visited the Faxon Branch parking lot on June 1st and 21st to help people register for rental and utility assistance. The mobile food share van visits the Elmwood neighborhood parking at Faxon on alternate Tuesday mornings and will do so until the end of August, at which time the van will move to another site in Elmwood due to the fact that Faxon will be open and the parking lot will be filled with cars from Faxon patrons. West Hartford police officers have assisted with traffic and signage, and about 56 people attend each van visit. Juneteenth. Spectacular, amazing, incredible weekend. We were proud to participate. Our table in front of the library was staffed by library staff members and members of the Community Outreach Committee. Many people stopped by to say hello. They were offered bookmarks and book lists. There was a video outside streaming library promotional videos, and photos of notable Black American authors were featured on the front doors of the Noah Webster Library. There was an art show inside the building displaying works by artists of color for 2 weeks before Juneteenth. So now it's Pride Month, and the library is hosting a children's celebration art exhibit sponsored by West Hartford Pride. Children of LGBTQ families were invited to submit their works and did so, and the easels were donated to us by Jerry's Artorama. The Faxon Branch Library continues to distribute food bags donated by the Fern Street Universalist Church. Families do not need to register. They simply walk in, collect a bag of food, no questions asked. 25 food bags are distributed each week on a first-come, first-served basis, and this will continue throughout the summer. Simplify CT is a new child tax credit program. We are participating by allowing families who would like to register for this tax credit program to meet representatives in the children's room. More on this to follow. And the Bear Fair, it's really coming. The sponsors and nonprofits have now paired up with artists. And Corey Payne, who created the Martin Luther King 39 racial equity mural, now on the side and front of the Noah Webster Library, is one of the artists to paint a bear to be auctioned, with proceeds from this bear benefiting the Faxon Branch Library. We have some news about library staff, and unfortunately, it's sad news for us, but very happy news for them. Adam Wisniewski, part-time library specialist for programs and publicity, who has been with the library for 3 years, is leaving us as of June 25th for a new position as the full-time visual communications designer at the Connecticut State Colleges and University Student Success Center. His projects, both for the library system and the town of West Hartford, have included original designs of the new library logo and library card, the newsletter and website, graphics for programs, library promotional videos, infographics, flyers, banners, and sliders. Adam has won several design awards at the Connecticut Library Association. He has been a valued member of the programs and publicity team and the entire library staff. He will be greatly missed. Part-time children's librarian Kendra Wallace is leaving to work additional days in Mansfield as a school media specialist. Kendra is beloved by many families whose children have attended her programs. She has worked at the library for 6 years and been a valued member of the children's team and the entire library staff, working to plan summer reading, ordering media, offering patrons help with reference and reader's advisory, and lending her creative skills to craft and art programs. Kendra will also be greatly missed. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Carol. A lot of exciting things have happened and lots going on. Do we have questions, Kim and Gail? Chair recognizes Gail Crockett, I think. Gail, yours.
Gail, you're
Okay,
muted.
here I am. It just takes a little while for it to switch over on my notepad. Thank you very much, Carol. First of all, I just want to say thank you to you, your staff, and the gracious generosity of the library, Noah Webster, to provide a table for the Senior Job Bank, which also had a table out in front of the entrance of the library. So we are very grateful to you and for providing that. It certainly saved me from lugging a table to the event. Question I have for you specifically is on this Celebrate All of Us. Maybe I missed it. Did you give a date for that? And are members of the public going to be able to sit down with you and the staff as you are trying to plan this event?
Thank you, Carol Waxman, Acting Library Director. Thank you for that question, Gail. We have had one meeting so far. That is an excellent point. We will definitely be seeking input from the public. Yes, because we will certainly not take it upon ourselves to know which groups would want to participate. So there will definitely be reaching out.
Okay, that's good to know, but you don't know when in the season, like
Yes.
you're anticipating.
Yes, hopefully the programs will be starting in September, going through the year and ending in April. Lots of time to have lots of programming
Oh,
for as many groups who would like to be involved.
okay, so it's a series, a rollout of different events and activities over a course of several months. It's not a designated day per se.
No, because there are so many cultures in our town, we need to have plenty of time to recognize many, and that is our intention.
Okay. And finally, just as a friendly reminder, I believe it's the end of September or November is Native American National Holiday. I know that in the state of Connecticut, it actually was declared a legal holiday, I believe, under Malloy. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I was on a Zoom conference with Native American individuals from the Wampanoag, Mashantucket, and the Pequot. Gentlemen went to great lengths discussing this staff because several individuals participating wanted to know if Connecticut should recognize that formally. And he said, well, quite frankly, we already have it in the statute. So I'm just calling that to your attention in conjunction with what you're talking about doing, because they're a group of individuals. I don't think we've also another group of individuals who need to be recognized, and certainly, and I will send a note to some the administration to remind them that this is actually a bona fide legal statutorily mandated day of recognition in our state. So
Thank you very much.
a,
Thank you for that
Anyway,
information. We appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah.
Other comments? Kim?
Library Board Member Kim Cohen. I unfortunately wasn't able to get out during the day for the Juneteenth celebration, but I did take a stroll on Friday evening and get to admire the new murals. And I had seen some snippets online in the social media, but didn't do it justice as good as those pictures were. So that was very cool to get to see that in person on Friday night, and also to kind of have my social media blown up with all the pictures of the West Hartford Pride celebration this past weekend. So lots of cool stuff going on in town, and it sounds like, sorry, we're getting a lot of feedback. Sounds of lots of additional events on the calendar to come. So just excited about that. And thank you, Carol, for your thorough update as always.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, Carol, I have actually one question for you. I mean, there's so much going on. It's hard to focus in, but I want to focus in on one thing. It's hard to pick. There are little notes that are so great. The Tech Lab, I think it's a great offering. Do you have published a timeline or a press release? So how can the public know more about when it's going to be available, what it's going to have, and if there's training for things like the cricket, all these things? Is there training? Are there going to be reservations? What's the game plan for that?
Carol Waxman, Acting Library Director. We are still deconstructing the computer lab to turn it into the Tech Lab. We're a bit away from its inauguration. Andrew Pirro is working on it along with Jen Francis. We will have a timeline soon. I will keep you updated, but right now we're just deconstructing and working to get the equipment. Hopefully by the next meeting, I will have more information.
That's great. And I assume, I mean, it's a big new service that we're offering. So I'm assuming there'll be some press, not outside our just normal library newsletter, but in, regular social media and other press that we don't necessarily, make things like WeHa or something like that. And I'm also assuming it would, not everybody would know like what a cricket is or what this is. So I'm hoping those are very cool things that we're offering. So I hope that there's, something that helps explain that to the public, because I would like the utilization to be good.
Absolutely. All of that will happen.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Kudos. That's really great. And then one last part of that is, where are the computers going to go then?
Carol Waxman, Acting Library Director. During COVID, we took the computers out of that area because everybody was sitting right next to each other, shoulder to shoulder. They are all spread out on the adult floor so that everybody has their own table, chair, and privacy. And it actually worked out very well. People appreciated it. They didn't really want to be shoulder to shoulder with anyone else. So we're just going to continue exactly what we're doing. The same number of computers that came out will be interspersed throughout the floor.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And it's good to hear that operationally is, as more people come in, that's working well. It's good to hear that that's working out for privacy, connectivity, all those issues. So that's great. All right. Any other questions from the library board? Chair recognizes Gail Crockett.
Gail Crockett, library board member. Carol, so that you said the smart lockers have been ordered. Do you know their approximate arrival date, and will you be promoting that so they're being installed and when they might be available to use?
We don't have a date yet, Gail. They're in production.
Oh,
As soon as I know, I will let you know.
oh, and I was just wondering in terms of, the community being made aware that this is in progress and has moving along to fruition.
Okay. I hear you. We can certainly make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's good. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, that was our last agenda item. And our next meeting will be held on July 26th. Do we have a motion for adjournment? Chair recognizes Gail Crockett.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
And a second, I think Chair recognizes Kim Cohen.
Kim Cohen, library board member. I second Gail's motion.
Great. All in favor, let's take the roll call. Kim Cohen?
Kim Cohen in favor.
Gail Crockett?
Crockett, library board member, approve adjourning the meeting.
And Jill Spear, library board chair, approve the adjournment of the meeting. Thank you all, and we'll see you in July. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.